Good afternoon. Just a very short video to help anyone that wants to fit one of these Aoocci or similar CarPlay units to a DL1050 Strom. Remove the tank and a load of the power bodywork just to make routing the wires easier. So first of all, with the Aoocci, this does not have an on-off button. It only turns off if you disconnect the power. So you have two choices. You either run it as a USB socket under here, underneath a waterproof cover. You either run a USB cable down and into this, which also only works with the ignition. That will turn it on and off. That's one way. Or what I've done, which is hardwire it in. So the loom comes out of the back of the unit. I've run that down. Massive wires. Come back to some of that later. I've currently then routed it through there, round. This will be underneath the body panels when the panels go back on, back round, and not onto the battery, but into one of these units. I've left it off for now just to show it, but basically these are one of these, either Oxford or I think Amazon sells something similar, where you have mains, positive and negative, goes to your battery terminals, and then there is a live wire, a little red one there that comes off, splits off from this loom, from this box. That is your ignition. So in other words, the relay as a switch will only work if you wire that into a live feed that has only works with ignition. So I have taken it back, just for anyone that needs to know. Back here there's an array of plugs that aren't used. One of these is probably for the 12 volt that you don't get on the standard 1050, but I think you do on the XT. There's a plug, looks like this. See the two pins? So that ordinarily mounts on there. Took that off, made up a looped wire, which you can just about see down there, which is to simulate those two pins. And then the top left, so when you're looking at this, it's in place, top left up here, is actually a live wire that comes on with the ignition. So it doesn't affect the bike, you're not cutting into, splicing into any existing wires, you're literally removing a cap, whatever you want to call it, couple of wires in, and then heat shrink it all down, and a cable tie just to make sure it's all secure. The other one back there you can see, this one, that is live permanently, it's always on. No idea what it's for, I have no idea what this is for, to be honest, but that's live permanently. So if you wire into that one, which looks easy, convenient, but it means your relay will just stay on permanently, and any accessories you plug into it will just stay on permanently, they won't come off. Anyway, so that's that. And then wiring wise, that Aoocci unit has a rear view camera. So my one, I didn't want to put it on here like a lot of people do, because I didn't want to block up the reverse brake light. So my one, simply a bit of 3M tape on there, cable goes round, and it actually, there's a nice gap under here. There's a nice gap where it can go up through the frame. So there's no need to cut the frame, no need to do any modifications. The cable will simply come up. It's that one there, feeds around, and I've got it dipping down, all the cables feeding down there, around, underneath this brace, whatever it is. I then have my rear camera and the power pack, because that's all coming from here. All those cables, that's actually double-sided taped just on top of the coolant tank there. They then follow round through and back up to the front. Now there are an awful, that way, there's an awful lot of cables. The only one I haven't used, and I've simply blanked off, is the controller, because I've already got enough things on my handlebars. I do not need another controller, and the touchscreen works just fine. So, front mounted dash cam, I've installed it there. So again, the cable runs down and actually just loops back into the bottom of that loom. I put this sleeve on just to make it look a little bit neater and tidier. I've also got a custom 3D mounted mount for the Aoocci. You don't have to, it comes with a bracket, but again I did that because I wanted to keep it all very low profile, and if I try and get the angle right, it all sort of looks like it's meant to be there. It's part of the screen, it's not sticking out over here somewhere. So that's the Aoocci. I'll turn it on quickly. Obviously I haven't got a fuel tank, so hence you'll see the main screen hunting around trying to find its fuel quantity. And there we go. And then you've got things like, takes a bit of time to load up, your cameras, which is very cool. And I mean, I've currently got this also connected now to my CarPlay. So yes. Oh, typical. I had it connected, it's disconnected for some reason. Anyway, there's plenty of videos on how that. Oh, there we go. There's plenty of videos on how that works. It's a great little unit. Gives all your Apple CarPlay, everything you'd expect. Now, in addition to adding that, as I had everything apart and thought, well, if I'm having it apart, I might as well tidy up the wiring. So as well as adding this relay, you'll notice I have 4 accessories. So first one is the Aoocci unit. Those ones are my heated grips. Again, the wires trace along. That's heated grips. Oxford ones, again, made a custom bracket just so it mounts nicely, because with the old bark busters, the old bracketry sticks out and clashes. So there you go, nice custom bracket just to mount that. I've also mounted or installed spotlights. I have 2 sets now, again with another custom bracket to mount it all, just so the cockpit wise it all looks easy accessible and obvious. That one is these 2 coming out. They route round. Although this has fuses, I've left the inline fuses because no harm. Follow them around just to try and keep all the wiring to a minimum, because you know this area ends up so full of blooming wires when you have 4 accessories. But they effectively now all come to this area. So my spotlights quite powerful, also have the ability to flash and things. So there's 2 power modules that are mounted underneath there. So various wires go in, and then wires from those go on out. And I've got half going one side, half going the other side. And again, it's just because there's only so much room to route cables up, around, down the hole, back out from underneath, and then come up and under. Now, one thing just to remind everyone to check, I've deliberately tried and keep them all up and in here as much as possible, so I don't limit my steering lock. Now, you can end up with a hell of a lot of cables going on underneath there, but as long as your handlebars can turn both ways, full lock, without straining, crushing any wires, all good. So when all the panels go back on, none of that will be visible, it'll be fine. But effectively, all those wires go to a set of spots down here on my lower crash bars, and then I've also now got another set up here. And if anyone wonders why you need so many, because that headlight is rubbish. Even though it's LED, it's absolutely pants. So just to show, what I've now got is these also can be yellow or white. There you go, that's the lower ones. Lower ones, we'll leave them yellow, and then top ones, oh no, wrong way around, sorry. Bottom ones will leave yellow, top ones will leave white, just to show what that looks like. All other way round, however you want it, or I want it. It's purely so at night time. Yellow is really obvious during the day, people see it, they know it, they see you coming. At night, switch to white, give you a lot of extra light, really helpful. The nice thing now though is if I've left them on and left my heated grips on, you know, let's say everything's on, and I don't want to drain the battery when I'm finished riding. I don't have to worry about unplugging everything or turning anything off. That kills everything. That relay has now gone out, so heat grips off, lights off, Aoocci off, everything. All done, all good. Now I just have the joys of changing the coolant, because that's due, and then putting all the body panels on. So another reason for stripping the body panels, because getting to that tank for the coolant is a right pain in the arse when the tank's in place. Anyway, I hope this video, short as it is helpful to someone. Love these bikes. Looks like I've got good weather next week, so I should be out enjoying, and hopefully not dazzling. Thanks everyone, bye.